So I think of field marketing in a way where you look at it from a go to this region, this style of event, an Ironman race, this type of whatever. But when I think about it from an online perspective, I think of field marketing as maybe a Strava, which has seen crazy growth. I think they have 96 million or something accounts now. I don't know what that is from a daily active user account, but a ton, right? And I remember seeing an interview where they were something like 3 million new users or signups throughout the pandemic, which is incredible growth for something like them. Tim and I are religious on there. It's a great platform. Maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago, you did a huge giveaway where you were going to give a $20 bag away, right. 20 servings away. Like, is that, how do you make a bet on a region, a city, a platform? And what are you doing in there to make sure that the money that you're about to lose to invest to get into something like that, you can see come full circle? And I want to also add this to this. I buy a $20 bag, right? I'm not drinking Skratch every day because I'm not using it in the way that I need, maybe I need to be using it every day. And that's the answer. But like, I know that if I'm doing 61 minutes or more, I'll drink Skratch that day, right? Yeah. But if I'm not going to. So most people don't drink Skratch on a daily basis. So how are you kind of formulating all that into it to figure out, hey, we're going to invest however much money into this to make sure that we're going to get that back in the long run?
Yeah, I would say this. You do it by using slow math. And slow math is that you make those bets incrementally based upon whatever data set that you have in the moment. And so, for example, when the pandemic first started, we made a small bet on Strava where we, decided, hey, this is enough money to be able to literally test what our return might be. And if we lose this money, it's going to be okay. From that data set, we got a really good return. And we got a return that we could actually measure because it was digital. And that's maybe the distinction between digital marketing and, say, field marketing. Field marketing is truly a bet because you don't understand or you can't necessarily track what the return on that. But digital bets do have some metric of return, whether it's an extra email, whether it's being able to track whether a consumer comes back and buys again through that email address, et cetera. And so because of the significance of email tracking and knowing what a customer does with that behavior in the digital world, it becomes a much more calculable than, say, the field marketing world does. And it's very interesting because people do live in real physical space, but they do live in a digital space. And what the pandemic taught us was how to really access the digital worlds that people began to move to or live in, right? And so based upon the small bet we took on Strava in 2020, we took a larger bet and realized that if we could actually give away a whole bag, that we might be able to do X, Y more. Get more new customers effectively. And both of those turned out. And I think that we weren't just lucky, but we were slow in how we approached it, right? So slow math.
Well, on the flip side, though, one of the things that was so impressive was how fast you were from the shipping standpoint. I mean, you put that order in, it's just like, bam, that thing is out the door, and it's really impressive.
Last year, we averaged something like 99.9% same day throughput. Now, 4 p.m. And that's a metric that we measure. That's a metric that our fulfillment team is extraordinarily proud of. And it gets tracked, and it's an important metric on our scorecard. Next to that metric is mispacks, and of that, how much do we screw up? And our mispack rate is like maybe 0.3, 0.4%, which is, I think, significant. We're going to keep on working on that, but net, we do really, really well.
I am not in that statistic, so good on that. But the customer service team, the packing team, I mean, they do a tremendous job where they'll put a couple stickers in there. Typically, they'll sign something. Like it's little things where I've just been like, oh, that's good. And so it it should be the standard. It's not, so it becomes the anomaly in there, and it's always good to see something like that.
We didn't know in business when we first started that you could hire these fulfillment centers to fulfill product for you. So we thought that we had to do it ourselves. We had no experience. And so this whole entire time, maybe out of ignorance, we have built our fulfillment team with the rest of our team living in the same space the whole entire time. And our warehouse team lives in the same space as the rest of our office. Half of it is the warehouse, the other half is the office. And from a customer experience standpoint, it allows us to very quickly change orders, to very quickly put out orders, to be able to sign these notes, put the stickers in, and then allows us a little accounting system on our invoices that's coded that allows us to know, well, how many times has this person purchased? Are they a new customer? Are they an old customer, etc.? And our warehouse team can look up people, understand their buying history. We have notes about their buying history, etc. And they become really familiar with customers through that mechanism because it's all happening in the same facility.
That's very powerful. So someone like a Gwen, a sponsorship with Olympic athlete Gwen Jorgensen, probably just butchered her last name. She just moved to Boulder too, by the way, I believe. Is that a relationship that is a similar answer to the Strava one, where it's just a calculator risk with having sponsorships or having sponsored athletes? Like how do you look at
those are very different. I think we look at sponsorship not in terms of return, and I don't think that those are very calculable. And I think that we sponsor athletes because we love athletes. We sponsor athletes because we care. We sponsor athletes because we want them to succeed. And we know that without our patronage, they wouldn't have the same chances of success, because oftentimes we are working in niche sports that don't have common revenue streams or ticket sales, right? And so I think that for us, we're only going to sponsor an athlete if we actually fundamentally care about their performance as people and can divorce that from whether or not they're going to increase sales from us. Yes, there is a positive effect on our brand in terms of credibility and association, but more importantly, I think it allows us to enjoy ourselves and have fun and have some pride around what our products can do for the most elite athletes in the world. More importantly, for me, it creates a test bed where they drive the product innovation. And so our athletes are so important, because having come from that world and having designed these products to work with those athletes and make those athletes better, they're fundamental to our product development, right? And we're not going to make a product unless it is something that an athlete at that very elite level wants and has maybe a problem that they're trying to solve around that. So I don't think that sponsorship for us functions in the tit for tat way that many companies often view it at the larger commercial scale. For us, it's much more human, and it's much more about product development, and it's much more about our own sense of pride and joy.
I'm fascinated. We started the show with, you make money, you continue to make more product to make more money, and now you're tracking metrics in terms of how fast you get stuff shipped immediately and wrong orders. What do you do as the leader of this company to stay sharp and to continue to learn CEO type things, as your business matures?
The biggest single thing that I've learned to do is listen to my team. Everything I've talked about was something that was taught to me by someone I hired, right? Or taught to me by Ian McGregor, who's our CEO, who was with me from the very beginning. And I know a lot about science. I don't know a lot about business, but listening to them, trusting them, and letting them be great at their jobs, and being a student instead of a teacher has been the most important thing that I can do as a founder of a company. And that humility is super hard at times, but it's super important. And I try to go into every conversation and ask myself, like, hey, how is what they're saying true, better than what I'm thinking, and more, meaningful to the growth of our business? And almost always it works out, right? I think there are a couple of books that are fundamental to our growth as well. One is Traction by Gino Wickman. the EOS model, the entrepreneurial operating system, is how we base all of our meetings, our scorecards, our business plan, our operating systems. There's the book 15 Commitments to Conscious Leadership that we onboard with our team as well, in terms of our culture and behavior. And then there's like the Zingerman books, right, on how to run a deli, right? And something as simple as that is really powerful.
I mean, I would think that, certainly, how is it when, from a chemistry or a science point of view, where you have in your mind where you want this product to go, and then you hire somebody how do you challenge them at the same time, listen to them to make sure that you're staying true to the Skratchman, point of view?
Yeah. I think that what we try to do is try to make sure that facts and stories are congruent, right? Like there is a story about, replacing the electrolytes you lose in sweat, but there's also a fact about it, right? And we can't just say that. It actually has to be real. And where I challenge, say, my sales or marketing team is for them to tell the truth, even if the truth isn't convenient about a product. That, yeah, look, if you drink this when you're sitting on the couch playing video games, it's probably going to increase your risk for type 2 diabetes. So this is bad. But if you're using this in the middle of a marathon, this is good, right? And embracing that contradiction and saying, yeah, there are real cases where this stuff and this ingredient panel and this nutrition profile is really, really bad for you. But there are situations in the right context where this is really good for you.
And I've seen that in some of your videos too, where you say, hey, like, I'd rather you find the thing that works.
Yeah.
I hope it's Skratch, but if it's not, I'd rather you find the thing that's going to help fulfill you in the thing that you're trying to do. And you don't hear a lot of businesses say that. So, I mean, I
think that there's a reason why other businesses exist. I think there's a reason why we have competition. Other companies do a great job, and there's a lot that we can learn from them. Our competitors push us, and they do a great job as well. And so we have to get out of the scarcity mindset, and we have to start worrying about running our own race as opposed to what other people are doing. That's when you become unique, right? Like in a world that is so convoluted and has so many things that are trying to get our attention, I think the best thing that we can do is just be who we are.
If I was to get on YouTube and look up Aaron Foster Skratch comedy sketch, am I going to see it, or is that not? Do you ever do it?
Aaron, he is so awesome, and because of his kind of acting, art background, etc., kind of did so many videos for us. He was kind of our front man for a while when I was, out on the road. So he was kind of our digital front man, and I was kind of our field front man. And it was a ton of fun. And yeah,
and he gave you the best business advice ever. It sounds like.
Oh yeah, and he
was spend more money than it's in the bank.
He was so important to, starting this business, because he was willing to roll up his sleeves and really just get work done. And, he didn't have the pride that he couldn't just be in a warehouse packing boxes all day. We had this kind of glass front Pearl Street location when we first started. And Ian, our CEO, his dad was a police officer in Boulder and would often drive by our place to pop in and look in and make sure everything was good. And one day, Aaron was the only guy packing in the warehouse, and he was working so hard that he literally passed out working. And Ian's dad found him passed out laying on the ground, and he had to be taken to the hospital, and the ambulance came, the whole entire bit, right? And it's just like, who does that? Like, maybe that was too much. I'm like, Foster, what are you doing? Like, Ian's dad just found you passed out laying on the warehouse floor. Like, what the hell is going on? But that was the level of commitment that people gave. That was the level of, I think, care that sometimes you need to start a business.
Very powerful. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to talk about or mention?
No, I don't know. I think it's all good. We could talk forever about this stuff, because this is, in part business and part life. And it's, I think, fun to try to inspire others to know that they can do what they want. It just takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of people. And that maybe if I were to just say anything, you can't do this stuff alone. There is no quote unquote being a hero in this game, right?
Powerful.
Yeah, really appreciate your time. This has been a fast hour.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll appreciate it. If I'm ever in Boulder, definitely would love to stop by and maybe see you at a field event, maybe work out, something like that. I don't know. Until next time, appreciate it. And thanks for listening, y'all.
Thank you.
Are you stuck at your home office, socially distanced coffee shop, or your fancy, all bricked out corner office, wondering why no one can see your business and sales are all over the place? Sounds like you need a pro. That's why I developed the Anomaly Academy. Insert clever copy here. Oh, I guess I was supposed to put something else there. Oops. You can grab access to the Anomaly Academy now at zackmillersays.com/Anomaly Academy.